Happy birthday, Chike it up, a special day of cheer. In this grand celebration, we all hold you dear. With unity and pride, we raise our voices high. Happy birthday, may you touch the sky. ChikeItUp, may you touch the sky. Brave leader, ChikeItUp, we sing to you today with hearts filled with loyalty. In unity we say, you bring joy, inspiration with every single day. Your wisdom and your kindness, they lead us on our way. In the realm of YouTube, you are a guiding light. Your words of motivation, they give us all the might. Through challenges and struggles, you teach us wrong from right. In your hands, great leader, we find solace and respite. Oh, great leader, ChikeItUp, we celebrate this day. In your honor, we gather, our gratitude we convey. You teach us to be strong, to stand tall and never sway. With you at the forefront, we'll triumph, come what may. In the land of honor, where our hearts beat strong, we gather round to celebrate and sing this special song. ChikeItUp, our dear friend, on this blessed day. May your spirit soar like a bird, so high in every way. With every video you share, you bring us joy, your voice, a beacon of hope like a shining torch in the night. ChikeItUp, your laughter is contagious, it fills the air through the power of your words. Our troubles we can bear. Happy birthday, ChikeItUp, a special day of cheer. In this grand celebration, we all hold you dear. With unity and pride, we raise our voices high. Happy birthday, may you touch the sky.
Oh, I should probably move. Yeah, that probably works better if it's near me. Okay, so my voice is still kind of shot, but I continued playing this for hours after I ended stream yesterday. I'm trying to make this a castle, and I realized hospitality was not enabled. I had it downloaded but not enabled, so I'm making a little guest area here. Thinking like hotel on this side, amenities over here. My frame rate is dying because of how much is going on. I also definitely use dev mode to give myself way more advanced components than I should have. Let me turn down the game volume. Oh, is that? Yeah, no, that audio's probably fine. The audio's probably fine. We'll pretend it's fine. Had to expand the fridge. Also making fancy alcohols now. Which... Okay, those are still waiting to be picked up. That's good. That's good. My people are on top of things. They're keeping up with production, which is good. I mean, there's 4 of them, and one of them's a child. So, all in all, they're not doing that bad, I guess. I did have 3 slaves, which is evidently a war crime. I've done 140 silly little war crimes. Ooh, 16 different unique ones. You're not supposed to, if you're like prisoners revolt, you're not supposed to beat them, I guess. This one I already had yesterday. You're not supposed to chop up and eat people. Okay. Yeah, you can't steal their clothes and release them from prison. That's not okay. You can't keep men and women in the same cell. You can't have them in uncomfortable or dangerous temperatures. Like, I control the weather. Let's see what else. Room without fire protection. That's every room here. I don't even count that one. Preventing prisoners from worshipping. They're heretics. What? Are you going to let them worship the devil on my land? No. That's... Come on. Violating prisoner diet. I guess you can't feed people raw human meat. They're complaining they're hungry. It's what I had. Failed to provide adequate messing premises. I'm not even sure what that means. I think it means they don't have a toilet. I don't have the Dubs hygiene mod installed, so no one has a toilet. Because this is like the opposite of that book. Everybody poops, but nobody poops. No one poops. Failed to provide adequate clothing. You know, I think it's because, like, they're just wearing a body strap and a collar. Oh, transport pod crash. What's in here? Monroe is not affiliated with any faction. What are Monroe's skills? Okay, Monroe's an ocean lover. But let's see, how long does Monroe have? Monroe has 7 hours. Okay. Yeah, abandon that. Take that one to the hospital. Because we need people. Let's see, my other silly little war crimes. Holding prisoners without advance pay. I don't know what that means. Prisoners must be paid a month, like, based on their rank? Their rank is prisoner. Their pay is 0. I'm supposed to pay them in advance? I don't know. You can't shoot people who are down. I did that yesterday. Deportation, exile, or abandonment of prisoners. I guess I was supposed to deliver them back home? I'm sorry, you attacked me? Enslaved a prisoner of war. Depriving a child of education. Are any of these people all that educated? Probably not. They got the standard education. Depriving a child of play. I'm not exactly sure how it thinks I did that. Before this kid grew up, which I used dev mode to do, because I was tired of having a 4-year-old running around drawing on all the floors. They were allowed to play... Well, I guess I didn't buy him any toys. That might be what that's about. Because I think... Yeah, I probably should have bought him a toy box. But it says used for play with babies. I don't know, I guess a 4-year-old would have liked the toy box. I don't know, the 4-year-old I think just wandered in. And I was like, yeah, okay. I guess I won't abandon you to the wilderness. But I was wrong for that, and I'm deeply sorry. I'm deeply sorry that I took this child in and I forgot to give him toys instead of just sending them along to the wilderness. You know, we all make mistakes. It's Imperial ship. Yeah, I don't have walls for that yet, so sorry, Imperials. Maybe someone from the Imperial City can come help you? Alright, these are all still cooking. We're still making stone blocks, because one thing I've got to do before I wall everything in, all of this out here has got to go. I'm going to be getting rid of all of it, walling in the majority of the area. And then, I don't know, I might not even use most of the land, but it's mine. So I'm going to put walls around it. So I'm tired of people just wandering in. And, I mean, I just had a hunting party come through, and they killed basically every large animal that was here. Yeah, all the megasloths are gone. They came through and killed every single megasloth with like plasma rifles. Which is a very weird choice for hunting, because I feel like that would probably destroy a lot of the meat. Regardless, I managed to steal a few of them from them when they downed them. Because a couple of them, you know, you shoot an animal covered in fur with a plasma rifle, it might catch on fire. And I guess they were afraid of the fire. So they ran away from the downed animal, and I just kind of went over and grabbed it. Oh, I could probably turn that back on now. So I have enough power generation finally. Why is that lagging? Why is that lagging? I swear to God, if YouTube starts telling me that my connection's bad, I'm going to scream. No, I guess it's back. I guess we're good. Are we good? Is that live? I don't know what that's doing. YouTube gives you some neat tools to manage things with, but I can't say they work flawlessly or aren't very confusing and misleading sometimes. I don't know what the fix to that is, though. I play video games on here. Probably get like a programming streamer. Maybe they can figure something out. Because I'm going to figure none of it out. I'm a miscellaneous idiot. If they need someone to do something like count 90 pills and put them in a bottle, or pronounce the name of a medication, I'm your guy. I can do that. Like put a window in a house, yeah, I can manage that too. Outside of that, Okay. Alright, they finally emptied that out. That one's working. We're gonna make double-aged whiskey, because I got a mod where I can do vending machines. And I'm gonna fill the vending machines with whiskey. I'm gonna have whiskey vending machines. Monroe has recovered and decided to leave. Convert. Oh, Monroe's an evangelist. We're going to convert an evangelist. Tyrion? Thanks for the subscribe. Hoping at some point you watch some of my videos. It seems like most of my subscribers don't. People will watch the live streams. Not really talk much. Then like a few hundred will watch. Well, no, some of my videos are over 1,000 now. Takes them a while to get there, though. Need to figure out how to get into whatever demographic is just staring at YouTube all day. That's who I need subscribing. Is people who just watch YouTube videos all day. Need to figure out who those people are and how to reach them. Because short of doing that, I'm going to have to keep working at a pharmacy. Which, I mean, overall is probably better for the world. Probably doing a good thing there. But, if I can get hundreds of thousands of people watching my YouTube videos, I can be entirely selfish and play video games for money. A much better service to mankind than, than making sure people get their heart pills. You know, entertain 500,000 people, or make sure a handful of... I don't know. This isn't a philosophy debate stream. Like, what's more important, making sure 50 people get the pills they need to live, or entertaining 500,000 people? Probably depends on who you ask, but overall, it's probably the heart pills. It's probably making sure those people live. I'm not sure anyone's ever been saved by a YouTube video. Okay, oh, they're still cleaning stuff up. Oh wait, we still got stuff queued here. Let's bring that down to 1, since they're already going out into the wilderness to grab them. Now we'll just use backpacks to grab everything else as a batch. Just wait until these people start cleaning floors, then I know they're out of things to do. Wait. Oh, okay, they are collecting these as a batch now. Yeah, what I need to do is get everything outside of the walls before I build them. Otherwise it's going to take twice as long, because they're going to have to run all the way around. Got a chunk of metal. Smelt that down. Ooh, I'm down to 1,300 steel. Okay, what is this thing? I don't remember what these do. Go harvest it? What is it? Single, rosy. What does this do? Non-conscious dryad queen. Here's my feed when correctly. No. That's not really useful to me. Wait, can dryads farm? That might be useful to me. So I want to expand the farm out so it's farmland between me and the little hotel area. But I need to get the walls up first. So ideally I want everyone coming through one area that I can put turrets around. That way both me and the people who decide to stay at the hotel are safe from raiders. Okay, good. They're condensing down. Alright, and they're cleaning now, which means all the other jobs are done. Marcus, I don't even know what that means. No idea what that means. I think it means, like, your parents should put you in a facility. Like, for your own protection. You gotta be put somewhere, man. So whatever's going on is not good. Okay, we do want waste disposal. So that'll cut down on the amount of trash. Let's take that apart. Deconstruct that. Let's haul all of these chunks of rock, because these will all definitely be outside of the walls. I'm never going to play Fortnite. Not going to do it. Not a fan of Fortnite. Played Fortnite like twice and then uninstalled it. Now PUBG I could do. PUBG's pretty okay. Fortnite makes no sense. Makes no sense at all to me. Fortnite is boring. PUBG is similar, but PUBG is pretty okay. I enjoy PUBG. Manu Gaming YT. Thanks for the subscribe. Short study? Why didn't that one pop up? Weird. Streamlabs be like that sometimes. I don't know how it gave me a notification for that without it popping up in my feed. Oh, wait, it did. It's doing them backwards. Okay. Okay, Streamlabs. We're doing non-linear time today. Oh, all the coffee beans are done. Are you saying Rimworld's boring? Because yeah, Rimworld doesn't really cater to the TikTok brain crowd. My channel as a whole doesn't really cater to the TikTok brain crowd. The other wall through here, it gives more than enough room on that side. So we do right around this lake. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Just gotta get everything cleaned up. It'd be nice if I had more people here. But I'm pretty sure with hospitality installed, to get more people, I guess I start working on the hotel now. I guess that's what I need to do. I can finish the walls after. It'll just be a little chaotic for a bit. Spam, cool. I love election season. 30 texts a day asking me for money. I want to know what makes all these political campaigns think I have any money to give them. Oh yeah, that's the other thing that I'm going to be selling. I'll be selling bricks. Yeah, I definitely have more than enough to make some marble buildings. pull that steel out too. Be nice when I can breathe again. Looking forward to that. Start to get this set up. Not enough to do carpeted floor. Oh, I don't even have carpeting unlocked. Bring all that back. Then they can start on the floors here. You're gonna need rugs. I can make rugs. Yeah, make them all whatever. Let me build a tier 2 cabinet because that'll help everything in here. You can get rid of the old one. Okay, that's going to take forever. These all need to be auto doors. It's not even half done. Yeah, this is the other thing I've been using dev mode for. You just make the enemies leave. Sorry guys, I'm not ready for a raid right now. I don't have walls up. I'm trying to build a castle hotel. Okay. A couple vending machines in there and see how these work. Oh yeah, now I'm gonna finish the road too. Doing marble. Yeah. Ringworm. Carl, control your brother. Kid's too obsessed with Fortnite. That's not good. Uh-oh, a rabbit's gonna attack. React to what? Just not playing Fortnite. Would never do that to myself. Dude, it's a rabbit. Why are you running? Just shoot it. Yeah, I know. That's why I know I don't like Fortnite. Man's got a sniper rifle. And he misses a rabbit. I know there's not. What I want. Oh, yeah. No, there's recovering from it. I went to church. I told the priest I played Fortnite and I regret it. And he beat the hell out of me. I didn't know priests were allowed to hit you with a Bible. But it was a beating I can only describe as savage, but warranted. Completely warranted. The Cash KR Star. Thanks for the subscribe. I've awoken India again, I think. The entire nation of India is coming to my aid at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, they're allowed to do that. And rightly so. I mean, priests aren't supposed to jump to violence, but if it's to protect the rest of their congregation, they got to do what they got to do. Like, they're not supposed to be violent. However, they can't just allow... Okay, why... Clear all. Why would we want literally everything in here? There's a number of drinks. Simple spirits. 1 liter spirits. Double-aged whiskey. We want in that one, we want that critical priority. Set pricing. Default pricing. And this one... What do we want to sell? Weapons? We'll sell melee weapons out of this one. And melee weapon. Very important. Paramaniac. Oh. His religion is called Ludism. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna save that guy. I'll leave it. Did he crash land with some metal around him? I'll save him. No, he didn't even crash land with... Not helping him. Oh yeah, I should probably do something about the temperature in here too. Those and a couple heaters. It'd be nice if I didn't pick the rainiest spot on the entire planet to build. Because the rain slows down their work. Can I only hold one item? Let's clear out some of these. We need to move all those chunks of slate so I can build the hotel. Didn't they bake a bunch of stuff? Butcher for rabbit. Bake it and then immediately eat all of it? Don't see any baked meals in there. Here like idiots. No, I think they baked them and then immediately ate them. Oh wait, there it is. This whole area needs to be cleaned up. Blow that up too, because that's going to be in the way. hurt them. They're all working very, very slow. That's not even a very large rug. Now they're all gonna sleep. Except this one playing pool. I don't know if I'd call it 10 out of 10, but it's definitely good background noise. The videos during the week are definitely better. Or the Rust streams. The Rust streams are pretty okay. Just need to get a bigger group together for Rust. Oh yeah, the chat today it's something. It's definitely something. It's high-level intellectual discourse. Yeah, that happens every now and then. Yeah, we're talking about what priests typically do if you tell them that you've played Fortnite. Carl's priest, I guess, shot him and left him for dead in a ditch. Mine beat the hell out of me with a Bible. Just savage beating. Completely warranted. Again, I will say completely warranted. If you confront a priest with something like, hey, I've played Fortnite before. I mean, It's a man of God, but like he can't leave his congregation at risk by letting you just think that's okay. So I get why he did it. I completely get why he did it. But yeah, that level of insanity is the kind of community I'm trying to foster here. Which, compared to a lot of like YouTubers communities, is, I don't know, probably towards the better end of the spectrum. That's very weird. That is very weird. Because like with YouTube, it's usually the other way around. It's usually YouTubers trying to get children alone, and then like it all comes out like years later. Yeah, the fans trying to get the YouTuber alone. That's, I mean, that, who knows? Maybe that's how the whole thing starts normally. That's why you gotta like build a team. You like build a team that way. If there's ever any weird accusations like, oh, the priest at the church is trying to get you to alone. I mean, do you look like a child? That could be it. I mean, most priests are pretty old. So, like, what they would consider a child is probably different than what you or I would. Because I think once you hit, like, I don't know, 50s, 60s, pretty much everyone under, like, 30 looks like a child. I mean, my parents still refer to a lot of my friends as kids. So, that, I would say run for your life. That's my advice. Just run. Okay, we want this to be a 6x6. That. Do another room, like the hallway here. Should pause this before they start building anything. Like physically or spiritually. They try to undo that. Yes. Hell yeah. Take like a big hotel room on this side. Like 8 deep. One. Yeah, YouTube will recommend you some good stuff sometimes. Definitely recommend weird stuff too, though. So may not always pay off. You might run into one of those priests. You'll join the stream, and the guy will just look right at the camera and go, "I got you." And then they got you. These people are tricky. Definitely tricky sometimes. Just wait until you run into a rabbi. 6 people watching. Yeah, mine seems to bounce around from like 4 to all the way up to, I think the highest I got was like 18 or 20 one time. At the same time, I don't know how YouTube actually counts the views. So I don't know if it's someone who like clicked on and clicked off, or if you have to watch it for like a few minutes for it to count. So I just assume, I have no idea how many people are actually watching, and the number YouTube's showing me is just completely made up. That's my assumption. I mean, if you look at my subscriber count compared to how many views that I actually get, I've run my channel trailer as an ad several times. And there seems to be a large chunk of people out there that'll just subscribe to whatever channel shows them an ad and then never watch any of the videos. And I don't know what that's about. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, there's times where I'll subscribe to someone and watch a bunch of their videos and then, like, forget they exist and not watch their videos for a while. But I've never subscribed to someone and then just watched none of their content. So since making a YouTube channel, I've realized I don't know how most people use YouTube. Like, I kind of use it the same way, like, people used to use, like, TV. Dead for less. Oh. Someone needs to go grab that before that starts rotting. Right. Yeah, I mean, that'll happen. I'll still watch a few of their videos. I mean, that could be it. I don't know. I feel like the ratio should be a little better, because, like, a lot of my videos will have a few hundred, maybe over 1,000 views, but it takes them a while to get there. So from that I can gather at least a decent chunk of the people subscribed are not, like, regularly on YouTube. But I mean, even 1,000, that's like less than a 40th of the people subscribed in total. So I don't get it, but I mean, it is what it is. It's definitely funny when people find out I have a YouTube channel and they're like, "Oh my God, you have 48,000 subscribers," and I'm just like, I guess. Be cool if they watch stuff. Yeah, you should check out the Rust videos. I seem to be doing Rust very differently than most other YouTubers play Rust. I seem to be playing Rust differently than most Rust players play Rust. My friend made content for me. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're a 7-year-old with a YouTube channel, you just promote among, like, religious leaders. Religious leaders and public school teachers. Those are going to be your bread and butter. But a large part of your operating budget is going to be taken up by security. Because you're going to need someone to keep those people physically away from you. So, like, numbers-wise, good plan. Financially, it's going to be rocky. Like, you're gonna have months where you're paying your security team way more than you're bringing in. But I mean, if you stop paying the security team, you don't want that. You want someone to keep those people, like, I would say arm's length, but I think the legal guideline for them is usually like 500 yards or something, is what the government mandates. Politicians, that's another one. If you're 7, you want politicians to stay away from you. They're probably worse than the priests anymore. Because, like, I mean, the Catholic Church at least seems to be trying to do something about their issue. The politicians, they don't seem to mind their colleagues that much. They were 5. I mean, I think that's probably going to depend on the country you're in. I feel like most of the West, a 5 or 7-year-old walking down the street with a gun is that's gonna attract police attention, and they'll probably take that gun away. Right? I can't think of anywhere. I don't think you can, Texas or Montana even, if a 5-year-old was walking down the street with a 12 gauge. I think the police probably say, "Hey." Well, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, then yeah. That'll also make it harder for the priest to find you, too. So, like, location is important. Location's definitely important in that regard. Plus, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, like, you just bury them. I was gonna say even if it's a politician, but no, don't hurt politicians. That's bad. Never hurt a politician. They're good guys. They only want what's best for us. Now give them half your money. Yeah, I haven't played Rimworld in months, and I was looking for something to stream yesterday, and I was like, oh, I'll do Rimworld. And then I remembered how addictive this game is. And then I played it for like another 8 hours after my stream ended yesterday. So, best of luck to you. If I find a decent like rehab service to get us out of this, I'll let you know. Oh, and my base is on fire. It's whatever YouTube's filter is. I'm fine with people saying pretty much whatever in here. Okay, this thunderstorm is very loud. Turn that down. There we go. That didn't help any. Yeah, all my settings on here are like default. I'm eating world eaters. I'm not even entirely sure what that means. Leaders. Yeah. Oh, yeah, like the Belgians did? Didn't the Belgians eat their king or president or something at one point? I mean, YouTube's usually on board with whatever Europe's doing. I'm shocked that they're against that. Yeah, good luck. I highly recommend... It's on the Steam workshop. What's up, Sam? There's a Geneva checklist mod. It'll give you a list of all the war crimes you've committed. Fun little addition to Rimworld. Let's hook up power to this. Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm committing war crimes I didn't even know were crimes. I thought it was just good fun. Like war crimes, hate crimes, like how can it be a crime if I had fun doing it, you know? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I would recommend, you don't necessarily need them for your pawns, like living quarters, but like any stockpile rooms, they're going to save you a significant amount of time overall. So you definitely want them, like whatever your stockpile room is and your workroom, you're going to want them there, as well as wherever you're storing your food. I mean, opening the door only delays your pawn by like a fraction of a second. But if you add that up over time, it's a significant amount of wasted productivity. So I highly recommend them. Yeah, I mean, I'd say if you're doing like an all-in-one, like your whole base is one big building, definitely on the entrance. That way, if like your pawns all need to flee inside real quick, because that I mean that half second of delay that could be the difference between them getting shot or like a raider getting in behind them. Oh, hanging out in the freezer. Smart. That's why. Also, if you're low on components, just use dev mode. Just give yourself components, or mine out the entire map. Then you'll find hundreds. Like this whole area was a giant mountain right here, and I dug it all out, and there was an entire vein of like probably 30, 40 components sitting in there. Oh, you literally enable it in the options, and then you click on this thing, and you type in stack. You could spawn a full stack or individual things. Then you just type component in the search, and it'll be under industrial component. I'm surprised by nothing anymore. I've seen too much. Let's get all these rocks out of here. Okay, how do I set these? How do I set them as guest beds? Okay, I don't even know why it's lighting that up. There's nothing in there. Something to research? No, because hospitality doesn't have its own tab. Oh, they are a separate thing. Yep, they're a separate thing. Just not as regular beds? Oh. Wait, where is that in here then? Something I have to enable. Oh, there's a giant tab at the bottom that just says guests. Okay, so I need a shopping area. Areas, new area. This whole thing is shopping area. Now, guess simple bed. Don't tell me I can't make it because it wasn't enabled from the beginning. That would be really irritating. Don't want that. We want double beds. No, not bed. What am I doing? Not reading, apparently. Okay, we're just gonna have to do that, I guess. Oh, it's irritating. It's not an option in there. It's not miscellaneous. Shopping area, shopping. Let's see. These three need to come here because I gotta get rid of this pipe. Riddy and Vignac, thanks for the subscribe. Let's see what happens when I research this. Is there something in here? I don't think so. No, 'cause it definitely wouldn't be that high up. Yeah, no, I think I just have to spawn them in. Not being used. Let's deconstruct. You know what, we'll just do the whole building at once. And we want guest area. Big. Put it all the way up to there. For this to get done. I'll sell those two. I don't know where it came from. Oh. So if I build regular colonist beds, it gives me the option to set for... I probably should have checked that instead of the beds in the prison. That probably would have made more sense. Why is that lagging? Oh, it's not. YouTube's just lying about it. Okay. YouTube's gaslighting me into thinking my internet connection dropped. Hell yeah. Chop up that turkey. That one 50. That one's 60. Rust thinking here. Okay, now this one. That one's 100. Big room. Better bed. Okay, now all of these... Nope. Oh, I'm running out of steel. Oh, okay, 6,000 wood still. You can. It's gonna be a lot harder. I think I did one playthrough like that. It's definitely a totally different game when you do that. Do cooler walls. I need ballistic glass. I can just do regular glass. I could just make more glass. Oh yeah. Yeah, Rimworld is very good at triggering all kinds of websites censorship. Yeah, I don't remember much about the one time I tried playing it like that. It was just, I think it was more tedious than anything. Oh, I know what I forgot here. Temperature. They're worth it in a fight. They're very worth it in a fight. It's just like an extra thing to keep track of, though. Non-venerated disposal of the... Did I just chop up and eat someone? Is it popping up telling me I committed a war crime? I'm building a hotel. Uranium, I don't need that. I need to find steel somewhere. Yeah. I mean, I would use the prepare carefully mod and just start with like multiple hemogen packs That way, if you can't get everything all set up quickly enough, you've got, like, they can just eat those. I mean, I think that playthrough spawns you with a thrall anyway, that you can get blood from. But I would still spawn. I'd start the game with extra bags, just in case. So otherwise, you're gonna go through the process of getting everything all set up and then lose like 20 minutes in. Yeah. I mean, that's what I did for this one. Because I haven't played the game in months, I spawned all my guys in with max skills, or close to max. Well, yeah, but you can all, I mean, like, the setup as far as getting your characters already, you can save that loadout. That way, if you do die 20 minutes into the game, you can just start a new game with the exact same setup. Just, like, hope for better RNG. Why is this one complaining about being hungry and tired? You could. You could just save the game when you start, too. And just reload from that. Well, that's... See, another thing you can do with dev mode is if you get a solar flare, you could just end it. Someone subscribed. Thank you for subscribing. I can't read your name. Oh, and they want to besiege us. So we're just going to make them flee until we're set up. Who are these people? Bulk goods trader? Okay. No, that's just kind of what it's going to do. I mean, I've got a decent computer. It's still a couple minutes to start up. That's any game with mods. I mean, mine's running off of an M.2 drive. And it still takes forever. It's an M.2 drive and 32 gigs of RAM. You would think, like, oh, it's just got to load some files into the RAM. It's going to be quick. No. It's never going to be quick. Let's see, we want that. Is this guy selling steel? No. Oh yeah, I have to put that in one of my my vending machines. Well, I could sell all of this. It's not any good. Poor quality. We'll sell that. It's tainted. We'll sell it. Sell that. Sell the shoes no one wants to wear. Yeah, we'll do 150 gold. Yep. Make the vampire dude a politician. Do a realism run. Racist vampire politicians, yeah. It'd be a good playthrough. Do like Modern America playthrough. The vampire is running everything and wants a lot of people migrating so it can drink their blood. Let's name your colony the United States. I'm pretty sure that's the only way to beat Rimworld. I think that's the basis of a lot of the game. I mean, you can literally make your colonists racist. You can make your colony's religion like one xenotype preferred. If you eat everyone who raids you, I think that's just like North Sentinel Island. I don't know if it's necessarily bigoted. I think it's just cannibalism. I mean, you're not eating them because they're different. You're eating them because they're made of food. Sure, it's in here. No. The next question is why I've got the areas set up. I guess it's because those people came as traders and not guests. And that's kind of how my colony's running. Because, I mean, these are all baseliners. I've got one dirt mole, but some wasters attacked, so I enslaved them. I was gonna try to recruit this one as a colony member, but I don't feel like dealing with someone with like a genetic psychite addiction. So they're staying a slave. Vending machine and fill that with Coke. Go for the real Tijuana experience here. Vending machine selling alcohol, another one selling drugs. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, an entire colony of people with like Coke addiction, that's basically just politicians. So, I mean, definitely doable. Let's see, we want to clear all. That's all that's going to be in there. Priority important. No, not all of them are addicted to drugs or eating blood. Certain ones definitely are, though. I don't know if I would say they're billionaires. I don't have like the weird hatred for billionaires that most people have. Depends on what the billionaire's doing, if I hate them or not. If they're buying up politicians and radio stations and stuff left and right, and telling those politicians to do things that are against the citizens' best interest, yeah, I'm not a fan of those. It's just some guy that made a bunch of money. I mean, most billionaires, that they just own stuff. Like if you found a cool rock out in the wilderness, it's just a rock. But everyone decides, oh, that rock's worth $5 billion. You're suddenly a billionaire. But you don't have $1 billion to do anything with. You just own a really cool rock, and everyone goes, yeah, that rock's worth $5 billion. We're valuing that rock at $5 billion. But unless you can convince someone to buy that rock from you for $5 billion, you don't have $5 billion. Like, there's an argument to be made. You can use that rock as collateral to get favorable loan terms from a bank, but actually, no, that's not really similar, because unless that rock is generating revenue for you, you're never going to pay off that loan that you use the rock as collateral for. It's like when everyone was having a fit about, oh, Jeff Bezos, he's got billions of dollars. What Jeff Bezos did is he started a company and had a controlling... Well, yeah, but if the museum doesn't want to pay you for the rock, like, it's not worth anything. Like the whole Jeff Bezos thing, like, oh, he's a billionaire. He owned billions of dollars worth of Amazon stock, most of which he wasn't allowed to sell. Like that was his compensation for being the CEO of Amazon. But even if he were allowed to sell it and he were to start selling all of it off, the value of Amazon stock was going to drop like a rock in free fall if he were to do that. Which would mean that his wealth, the little pieces of paper, the shares of ownership of a company that was worth that much because he was running it, like if he were to start selling all that off, every investor would look at that and go, oh, Amazon must be in trouble. And they'd start selling off all their stock too, and next thing you know, Amazon stock would be worth nothing. So, like, I mean, billionaires aren't the big scary boogeyman that everyone on the internet wants to pretend they are. And in reality, if the government didn't have as much power as they do, the money that billionaires use to bribe politicians, like, the politicians wouldn't be able to do anything. That problem would be solved. Like the whole issue stems from the government having way too much power and being full of very, very greedy people with like no morals whatsoever. Like, I mean, even the entire immigration argument that, oh, we got to let everyone in. That's only helping billionaires. That's helping billionaires. You're letting in limitless labor into the country, and if the labor pool is that big, companies don't need to pay employees more. They can just get rid of you and hire someone else, because there's 5 billion, you got 5,000 other people all looking for that same job. Now, if we didn't have such a massive surplus of labor, wages would go up, because companies would once again have to compete with each other for competent employees. Like, that's a big part of the problem, is everyone claims they hate billionaires and, oh, we got to stop them from making more money. Like, they're not paying people enough. The reason they're not paying people enough is because you have virtually limitless access to labor in this country. And then even like what tech companies do, they'll put out a job posting for a job that typically, right, and that's the point I'm getting to. They'll put out a job posting for something, and they'll put the pay at like 40% less than market value. Because the government won't allow them to import cheap labor unless they can prove they can't find domestic labor. So they'll put out a job posting 40% less than what that job should actually pay, and no one will apply. And they'll keep that up for a month, and then they'll go to the government and go, look, we can't find any workers. There's no one in America to do this job. And the government goes, oh, okay, you can bring in a bunch of H-1B visa workers. So they bring in a bunch of foreign tech workers. That if you talk to anyone in the industry, they're not doing a great job, but they'll work for a quarter of the price of what an American would, which brings down the average pay of that job in America. It is nothing but absolutely destructive to the American worker, and a huge benefit to the people running these companies. That allows them to make more profit. They're paying under what a fair market wage is. Like, no one is benefiting in the situation other than the people running the company. No one. If the government were forced to actually enforce immigration law, we wouldn't have this problem. Those companies, instead of being able to import workers from wherever in the world they want and pay them next to nothing, they would have to pay fairly and actually train people. Like, a lot of the jobs that require a college degree now used to be a job that you just walked in and said, I'm here for a job, and then they trained you for the job. Companies have outsourced that onto the average citizen by going, oh, no, you got to have a college degree. So now you got to go, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 into debt to hopefully be able to get the job. But then that same company now turns around and goes, you're not willing to work, you're not willing to do this $150,000 a year job for $40,000 a year. Looks like we got to bring in someone else from elsewhere to do the job. Then you have the added problem of bringing all those people in. Well, now those people need somewhere to live. We don't have enough housing for all these people, which is part of why our housing prices are through the roof. And it's way worse in Canada because Canada's out of their mind with what they're doing. They, for some reason, they decided we need to have 100 million people in Canada. But then they didn't think, like, wait, those people need somewhere to live, and they need food, and they're going to need cars, and like they did nothing as far as the infrastructure of supporting that many people before going, yeah, we'll just bring in that many people, it'll work. And the average price of a house in Canada is like $200,000 more than the average price of a house in the US, with a currency that's worth like 30-40% less. How anyone can look at that and go, yeah, this is working out and this makes sense. They've got to have brain damage to think that. It's crazy. And then to think you can bring in millions of people from a foreign culture and integrate them into your society, and you don't end up with like balkanization where, okay, this area is this group of people, this area is this group of people, this area is this group of people, and they don't get along, they don't live similar lifestyles, they don't have the same values. That's a recipe for conflict. But that's also a benefit to politicians because they can pander to different groups and be like, oh no, your problems are because of those people. It's those people's fault. When the politicians cause the problem, they're just shifting the blame onto someone else. But they can make all the different groups fight amongst each other. Yeah. Canada legalized that. They're trying. Well, a small group of physicians are trying to get that legalized for minors without parental consent now too, which is, got to stay family friendly, but I would think something should be done there. Like, how can a medical professional make the argument that a child should be allowed to make that decision without parental consent. Like that, there's plenty of doctors in Canada trying to blow the whistle on it, and the Canadian government attacks them for it. I mean, that's mind blowing. There was a veteran up in Canada that was trying to get a ramp put on her house, and it was taking forever, and she complained to their like Veterans Disability Administration, and their solution was to offer her euthanasia, which is, I mean, that's crazy. They're taking forever to install a ramp, and they're like, you could maybe die, then the ramp won't be like, that's psychotic. That is absolutely psychotic for a government to say that to one of their own citizens. Like, I would think that right there is oh, they're not offering it to the people who are driving the overpopulation. I mean, that's the other crazy thing is, on one hand, to claim, oh, we're overpopulated, there's just too many people, and then on the other hand go, we need to bring in 50 million more. Well, yeah, but the government's goal, like the government's stated goal, is like 100 million people by, I think, 2050 or 2100 or something. It's a long-term goal, but when you consider Canada had like a population of what, like 20 million, and they're like, yeah, within a generation and a half, we would like to multiply our population by 5. But then they did absolutely nothing to incentivize Canadians to have more children. If anything, they've done the opposite by like ensuring that houses are unaffordable. No one can find jobs. The hospitals are all like completely overburdened. Like, you start to look at all these politicians behind this, and it's like, maybe all the crazy people on AM radio saying that the world is run by shape-shifting reptile aliens are right. Because it's clearly not humans. Like, it's clearly not a normal human coming up with these ideas. Like, imagine, like, sitting with your group of friends and you're like, we need to do something about this. And you propose an idea that insane. They'd be like, that's pretty funny, but what's your real idea? Like, no, this is what I really want to do. Like, your friends are going to be like, oh, okay. I'm just going to not talk to you anymore. Like, you're clearly a psychopath. Like, and that's just like normal operating procedure in most of the West at this point, which is interesting to say the least. I mean, there are commonalities, but between the people pushing for these things, but we're not going to talk about that. I'd like to keep my channel, so we're gonna stay away from the who, and we'll just stick with the what and the why. Because when you start getting into who, then you don't have any kind of career anymore. Let's see, what do we need to research? Let's start doing these. Yeah, like I feel really bad for Canadians. Because every problem we're having here in America, Canadians are having it worse in terms of like scale in proportion to their population. It's like Canada. No, it's not to see how much they can. I mean, there's money is a lot of it. It's very cheap to buy a politician. You can get a senator to vote however you want for like 5-10 grand. If you look at some of these campaign contributions that these different individuals and companies make to different politicians, 5 or 10 grand, you own a politician. They'll vote however you want. Which, I mean, it makes regular citizens already have the power to hold their votes over these people's heads. But, like, how many people would you need to get together to raise 10 grand? Yeah. I don't think you're ever going to get politicians to actually be pro-gun. that would tip the balance of power too much back in the citizens' favor, because that was the original intent of the Second Amendment, is the politicians should be a little bit fearful of the people that they're representing, and not just in terms of like, oh, if I don't do what they want, they're not gonna reelect me. Well, yeah, technically the U.S. is not supposed to have a standing army. But if you actually objectively look at what the U.S. military does, the U.S. military overwhelmingly does more good than bad in the world. Every time some other country is hit by a hurricane or a tsunami, the U.S. Navy and Air Force are the first ones there. Like passing out supplies, getting power up and running. And part of that is because if you leave an area without basic infrastructure long enough, it will turn into chaos. And then the U.S. military will have to go in anyway. Only it'll be much, much more expensive. So I don't have an issue with the U.S. having a standing military. Some of the things we do with it are iffy. Some of the things we use it for are clearly in the interest of people who are not U.S. citizens. Like, I mean, look what we're doing over in the Middle East right now. We're over there protecting one country. The only thing the U.S. Navy should be doing over there is ensuring oil tankers keep moving. Keep the oil moving. Because if the oil stops moving, things get really, really bad for everyone. The entire planet runs on oil. That's the main job of the U.S. Navy, is to protect international shipping, which, I mean, a lot of that overall doesn't necessarily benefit the average American, but it does ensure global stability. Like, if you can't get shipping vessels across the planet without them risking being attacked by pirates, you have a world economy in shambles, and a functioning world economy is what keeps world wars from happening. The reason we're not at war with China, at least militarily, we've been in an economic war with China since the 90s, probably since before that. But the reason that economic war between the U.S. and China doesn't turn into a shooting war is because they depend too much on our money, we depend too much on their production, which is our own fault. All of that stuff they make for us, we used to make for ourselves. But a couple generations ago, people decided they wanted the stuff to be cheaper. So now it's made in China using virtual slave labor, people who are making like $5 a day. Well, yeah. Yeah, China sells a lot of stuff at a loss because they manipulate their currency. China will say they have the yuan. The yuan is two different currencies. There is the domestic yuan and the international yuan. And the Chinese Communist Party sets the value of both of those. So they can price things lower than they should be to undercut other countries, while also ensuring the value of their currency within their country doesn't completely collapse and their own people can still get food. I'm not a big fan of a lot of what China does, but as far as mostly acting in the interest of their own people, their government's doing a lot better than ours is. Now, there's also the argument of what does the Chinese government consider their own people. It's Han Chinese. There's a lot of different varieties of Chinese, but they're really only looking out for the Han Chinese, which would be like the U.S. government being like, no, we're only looking out for people with British ancestry. Like, not all American citizens, we're only looking out for the ones that can trace their lineage back to England. That's essentially how China operates. Granted, that is like 80% of their population. But I mean, they're at least, I think largely they're incompetent, but You don't see China importing millions and millions of people from foreign countries to take jobs from Chinese citizens. You don't see things like that happening. You don't see China letting crime run rampant in their major cities. Right, exactly. And by their own citizens, a lot of the time, it's not the Han Chinese that are doing that labor. And China, I mean, China's also in a lot of trouble right now, and they very well may have like an actual shooting war with India soon, because America has moved a lot of their manufacturing to India. A lot of our like pharmaceuticals and vitamins that used to be produced in China are now being produced in India, because when the pandemic happened, a lot of people figured out like we don't make vitamin C. Pretty much 100% of the supply in the world was coming from China. China locked down completely. They weren't exporting or importing things, meaning no one could get vitamin C. We had what we already had imported. So we did move a lot of that production to India, which has caused the Chinese economy to take an enormous hit. As much as they pretend the Chinese economy is doing great, the Chinese economy is largely a paper tiger. Like they measure GDP completely differently than everyone else does. Like we consider economic growth, like if you were to build an entire neighborhood of houses, that doesn't count for anything until those houses are sold. China counts it when those are built. Yeah, where they're hitting each other with rocks and sticks. Yeah, they were on the border up in the mountains beating each other with rocks and sticks. Which kind of told us a lot about the readiness and equipment level of the Chinese military. Their most critical land border was being patrolled by guys who were either unarmed or armed with weapons that immediately malfunctioned. Like in reality, a hot war with China probably is coming. And I mean, if even recent news, China just built a nuclear sub, and it sank in the port. The same thing happened with one of their aircraft carriers recently. They built an aircraft carrier that was supposed to be, next generation. This thing's amazing. Granted, the thing was a quarter the size of our aircraft carriers, and it sunk. It sunk immediately. They were like, all right, here we go, maiden voyage. They launched it, and it went right to the bottom of the harbor. It did the same thing with this nuclear sub they made. Oh, we made a next-generation nuclear sub. Launched it, boom, bottom of the sea. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. But in a way, I kind of am. Like, for their consumer goods that are being exported, like, they don't really care what quality they are. Like, we got paid, so it's your problem now. For their own military equipment, I don't know. You'd think they'd have some level of quality control. I don't know if they would annihilate them, but I don't think it would go the way a lot of people think that it would. I mean, the main reason it would never happen and why China hasn't invaded is they realize if they do anything more than like fly fighter jets over Taiwan or anything like that, the U.S. Navy is 6 hours away. Less than that. I mean, that's the crazy thing about U.S. military readiness and ability to project power. The U.S. military can be anywhere in the world at like near full fighting strength within 8 hours. The U.S. military is less than 8 hours away from rolling up on literally anyone. Like, I don't know. The war in Ukraine, I'm pretty sure, is theater and money laundering. We have more footage out of Gaza than we do out of the war in Ukraine. Like, I find that interesting. I find it interesting how much more footage we have from Gaza, which is comparatively destitute compared to, like, Ukraine. And then you look at, like, I mean, even Zelensky said 70% of the money we've sent them gets nowhere near the front lines. It's stolen before it gets there. And then there's all those Ukrainian politicians that got caught buying, like, mansions and stuff in, like, Monaco, London, places like they're buying luxury mansions and supercars with the money we gave them. So I mean, that's the other thing. Before the whole thing kicked off, Ukraine was considered the most corrupt country in Europe. Like, by far, the most corrupt country. And then somehow we got to give them billions of dollars all of a sudden. Like, we're pretending, oh, it's to hurt Russia, but, like, all Russia did was empty out their prisons. Like, they cleared out a lot of old equipment, and they sent a bunch of criminals to be meat shields to absorb the bullets we paid for. Like, I think we looked at it as, like, similar to the Cold War, where we were like, oh, we can just outspend them and bankrupt them. But I think Russia learned from the Cold War, like, yeah, don't fall for it again. I mean, personally, I think none of it's any of our business. We've got problems here. It'd be like your own house is on fire and you're like, yeah, but, like, some kid 3 cities over doesn't have a winter coat. Like, yeah, it's sad that kid doesn't have a winter coat, but, buddy, your house is on fire. Like, your own citizens can't buy houses. They can't afford medicine. Like, I think we got way bigger problems than, like, some sort of pissing match on like, a quarter of the planet away. Like, not to mention, if you look at what led up to that entire conflict, no one's the good guy. No one's the good guy there. We're pretending one side is superheroes and the other one's an evil empire, but everyone is just garbage. Both sides, garbage. Like, Vice had really good coverage of what was going on in Ukraine leading up to the annexation of Crimea. Back before Vice was like a propaganda outlet. But the reason Russia took Crimea is because Ukraine, like, Kiev was artillery striking villages in Crimea. Like, that whole area considers themselves to be ethnically Russian. The West is who decided that they were separate from Russia after the USSR fell. I mean, that would be like the U.S. having a civil war and the international community deciding, okay, Texas, that's part of Mexico now. And then Mexico starts bombing Americans living in Texas. Like, of course America would respond to that. Well, if America cared about its own people. If we were a sane country with leaders that actually cared about their citizens, that's what they would do. So, like, They didn't, though. They didn't. A bunch of people in the east of Ukraine fled to Russia because they considered themselves Russian. Like, Russia had a giant influx of ethnic Russian refugees coming in. That was, of course, that wasn't covered in any of our media. But I mean, it's what happened. The entire thing, like, it's lies. You can't trust anything Russia says, but you definitely can't trust anything the West says either. So it's like, okay, if I can't trust either side, I don't want to put up any money towards either, because I don't trust either of you. Like, I'll keep my own money. You guys sort your own thing out. Then it doesn't help that, like, Ukraine wanted to negotiate for peace like 2 or 3 years ago. And wasn't it Boris Johnson stepped in and was like, no, you're not negotiating for peace. You have to send hundreds of thousands more young Ukrainian men to their deaths. And it's like, okay, what are we doing? Were we just clearing out land for someone else to come in? Like, we're throwing Ukrainian and Russian men into a meat grinder for something that benefits neither of them. Like, so you got to look, like, who exactly is going to benefit from this? The entire thing is nuts. It's just like, I mean, look at what's going on in the Middle East right now. First, some guys used Fortnite hang gliders to cross the most secure border in the world. And they weren't caught. And then a bunch of whistleblowers came out and they were like, no, we knew they were going to do that. We needed it as justification to start a hot war. Like, oh, okay. And then they took a bunch of land. Now they're bombing Lebanon. Going, see, they're there too. They're in Lebanon. We got to take southern Lebanon. The only way to solve this. And it's like, come on. How many times are we going to fall for the same thing over, like, how many times can you get fooled by the exact same lie? It's crazy. I mean, I think Obama only did it once or twice. And then, yeah, you just use the same argument. Oh, the enemy was in there. And, like, I mean, sometimes that is the case. Sometimes the enemy, like, it happened in Ukraine. They were like, oh, Russia, they bombed an elementary school. Which sounds really bad. Oh my God, they bombed an elementary school. The thing is, it wasn't being used as an elementary school at the time. It was being used as a military barracks. It was a legitimate military target. But countries have learned that, like, oh, depending on how you frame things in the media, like, oh, they're bombing kids. Oh, they're doing this. And it's like, that's not what the building was being used for at the time. The building was being used as a military barracks. So it's like, you know, was it a functioning children's hospital that was treating poor little kids with leukemia? Or, you know, was it being used as a military outpost? Like, that's why, like, my opinion on the whole thing is it's not our business. I don't know what was actually going on. So I'd prefer to stay. I'd like to not fund any of it. I'd like to not fund any of it. And people can figure their own thing out. Like, on one hand, people, oh, America shouldn't be the world's police, but then things like this happen, and they're like, America, get involved. Like, what do you want? Are we the world's police? Are we not the world's police? Like, we have to decide what we're going to be, and then we can move from there. But we can't do this whole, like, no, you're only the world's police when it's popular. Like, sorry, you can't have a popularity contest going on when, like, people are being blown up. Like, the only thing to do in that situation is, okay, these are the guidelines we're going by. We're sticking with them. We're either going to be the world's police and prevent conflict from happening, or we're going to stay completely out of it. And, like, it's not our business. We don't live over there. Because, I mean, by that same logic, yeah, I mean, if that's what we're going to do, okay. But the American taxpayer also shouldn't be the sole funder of that. Yeah, no, intimidation is what we used to do. The problem is, like, in the situation you're talking about, America has clearly taken one side, and the truth doesn't matter. America is going to support that one side overwhelmingly, and has been for 40 years, to the tune of billions and billions of dollars a year. That could have been spent here, that could have been spent to solve our own problems. Instead, we're subsidizing a country that has its own space program. Like, I'm sorry, you can afford to go to space, but you need $10 billion from us every year? What are you talking about? And then you look at some of the things that their leaders have said to the international media, and it's like, okay, yeah, nah. Like, oh, we lead America around like a dog. Excuse me? Excuse me? Did you just call us dogs? I don't think you need our 10 billion anymore. But then, like, you look at what happens on private islands and who certain people work for, and you realize, okay, there's a reason our politicians are making these decisions, because they don't want certain videos to come out. And they don't know if there have been copies made of those videos. Like, the FBI, they got all the ones that were on the island, but they don't know if that's the only copy. There might have been other copies. There definitely were other copies. Those copies are probably where the guy who took the videos is currently living. Tel Aviv. But that's a whole other issue. It's very, very complicated to solve. Because essentially the simplest and quickest way to solve it is to, you would have to give blanket amnesty to the prolific child abusers in our own government. And let them know, okay, when all of this evidence comes out about what we already know you did, we promise not to tear you limb from limb. We'll let you live out the rest of your days. But we're no longer going to let blackmail over you control all 340, 300, however many millions of us there are. But that's not even necessarily a solution that I really like. But I think it's probably one of the only solutions that actually gets us out from under a foreign boot. Which is really unfortunate that we've allowed ourselves to get into that position. But if we're going to be pragmatic, and we may have to stomach some really disgusting things and accept that the victims won't get justice. Because the alternative is millions of us, hundreds of millions of us continuing to be tax slaves for a foreign country. It would also prevent probably thousands of American military members from needlessly dying in foreign conflicts. So, I mean, that may be the best solution is, amnesty for the people who did it that currently have blackmail on them, and safeguards in place somehow to make sure it doesn't happen again in the future. Like, there's a reason the FBI raided that island and then conveniently lost all of the tapes they took. Oh, we got all of his tapes. He had safes full of recordings. Oh, we lost them. They're gone. We don't know where they went. There's a reason they lost them. I've got cabinets right over there full of DVDs and video games that I bought when I was a child. I didn't lose them. I know where they are. They're right over. I don't use them anymore, but I know where they are. Got like Final Fantasy 10, 11. Got GoldenEye. Got GoldenEye 007 in a box over there. The original box it came in. So somehow when I was like 10 years old, I'm in my 30s now. I kept track of that for decades. The FBI couldn't keep track of evidence that they seized from an island for a month. Very interesting. The FBI couldn't do what a 10-year-old did. Should I just convert my channel into like a conspiracy and politics channel? I feel like my videos would be a lot more engaging than playing Supermarket Simulator. I mean, there's another one out, Record Shop Simulator. And I was thinking of making a video about it. Not about the game itself, but about the fact that it's the same goddamn game. It's the same game, you're just selling a different thing. But, like, is that going to be as interesting as, like, hey, how did the FBI lose all that stuff? I don't know if I could give you like full credit for it. But like I'm realizing YouTube's censorship isn't as strict on creators as I thought. You can get away with a lot more than I thought you could, and that may just be because like I'm extremely low profile YouTube effectively doesn't know I exist. I'm sure if I were to get any appreciable sized audience and say these things, I'd probably start running into issues. Especially because I'm like agreeing a little bit on both sides, and they really don't like that. Like you can be right wing, they don't want you to be, clearly. Yeah, but where'd they go? Also, what a character arc. Neo-Nazi to trans woman. Usually people go like neo-Nazi to furry. That's usually the talent tree people go on. Doing something totally different. Half of all femboys are neo-Nazis. Okay. Why? Why is that happening? Look, I've been on VR chat before. I've never noticed that connection. I thought War Thunder is just where members of the military to go to like leak state secrets to prove someone wrong about a tank or an airplane. Or was that World of Tanks? It's one of those games. One of those games is people in the military kept just releasing state secrets. Like, no, actually the specs of this tank are this. Here's a schematic. People are still playing Minecraft? I thought Minecraft YouTubers were like 80% playground enthusiasts. I think that's the nomenclature we're supposed to use, playground enthusiasts. I was gonna say potential Epstein clients, but they'd have to be like rich for that, and I don't know how many Minecraft YouTubers are that rich. Oh, what leaking? Talking about neo-Nazi femboys, now you're talking about leaking, and I'm not even sure we're on the same subject anymore. What's leaking? Like the neo-Nazi femboys are leaking out of Minecraft or into War Thunder? Oh! That's crazy. What would be the purpose of that? Like I could see a dumb person being tricked into leaking state secrets in a game about tanks to prove someone wrong about the design specifications of a tank. But as far as I know, Minecraft does not have like real world accurate tanks. Granted, I tried playing Minecraft like 4 months ago, after not playing it for probably close to a decade. It's a totally different game now. Like, even like the basic like crafting recipes are different. To the point where I was capable of building a stone cube to live in. And then there were like cabins that other people had. And I was just like, wow, I can't even identify half of these building items. Definitely made me feel very old. I mean, funny that makes sense. There is something entertaining about the idea of leaking military secrets through Minecraft. I'm like, no, I have to prove this 8-year-old wrong. That jet can't go that fast. It can't turn that sharp. The wings would shear off. Hold on, when I go to work on Monday, I'm gonna photocopy some top secret jet schematics and design specs. I'm gonna prove this child wrong in Minecraft. This 8-year-old's a moron. He doesn't know about this jet. Holy hell. Oh, I think civilians should be able to own anything that the government can. It's literally what the Second Amendment says. Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with that being... I mean, it's already happening. It's just not legal. People have those things. Not legally. There's no paperwork involved for a lot of them. And it turns out the ones without paperwork are cheaper than the ones with paperwork. Because a lot of people are scared to own the ones that don't have paperwork. And an M2 Browning in 50 BMG, yeah, you can legally get one if it already has papers. If you find one that has never been registered, you're going to be answering a lot of questions about where the hell you found it. So if it's not papered, it's a lot cheaper than the legally transferable papered ones, because finding a buyer for the non-papered one is much more difficult. Especially because it's not exactly a thing that's easy to hide or use. I mean, to use it, it's got to be mounted on something to be able to be... You can't hold it. But yeah, there were plenty that came back on Jeeps after World War II that went missing. Like, thousands of them. If you paint the tip orange, you're adding on another felony. Just... I mean, I guess at that point, what does it matter? Like, you're already committing a really big felony that the U.S. government is very motivated to punish you for. So, yeah, stack another one on, I guess. Like, you're already going to jail forever. They can't send you to jail forever twice. I wouldn't recommend it. I am not condoning that in any way. If someone decides to clip this, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying, if you're already going to jail forever, you can't go to jail double forever. They're never going to let you out. So, like, yeah, paint it like a Nerf gun. Like, yeah, if you're going to do it, make it funny. Yeah. I don't disagree with that entirely, no. But I don't condone it. So if anyone's watching this, please don't go spend $25,000 on an illegal machine gun and modify it. Yeah, it's the South Park hunting method. You just scream, "Oh my God, it's coming straight for us," and obliterate it. Oh, okay, that was a couple hours ago. This has definitely been one of the weirder streams I've done. A revolver in 12 gauge. I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing. Let's see. Yeah. MTS 225, drone strike 12 gauge. It's a thing. I mean, if you're gonna fire one, hopefully you don't like your wrists that much. Because like a 12 gauge revolver it's gonna kick a little bit. Yeah. They do have it for 40 millimeter grenades, but I don't think the kick of a 40 millimeter grenade launcher is quite as much as a 12 gauge. You might be... Yeah, you could do a minigun jetpack. I think a 12 gauge revolver, if you're doing like buckshot or birdshot, you might be okay if you've got strong wrists. Don't fire a slug out of it. If you try to fire slugs out of it, it's going to break your wrist. Why is no one coming to my hotel I built? What are my pawns even doing at this point? Gone off on such a long tangent. Oh, they're not even done making stone blocks yet. The mini shells, those little like half-size things. Those things are goofy. Yeah, those things are goofy. They do still shoot. Don't know how much good they'll do, but they do still shoot. Yeah, but if you're going to use a mini slug, you might as well just use a regular gun at that point. 'Cause, I mean, a mini slug out of a smoothbore, you're basically firing like a handheld blunderbuss. Zero accuracy in that shot. I think if you were to do that, you would upset every single gun tuber. There's people out there that just bullpup everything, and that sets off gun tubers. Because the minute you're having to connect a trigger to a firing mechanism that far away, like, the trigger feel's gonna be trash. Yeah, see, this is why you gotta mine everything if you're low on components. This was just a big chunk of rock. There's uranium in the middle. I mean, politicians get mad about every gun. Like, they've got some sort of hate campaign against the AR, but guns that are functionally identical they're not even aware of. Although that, I mean, it has nothing to do with the AR itself. They just went, what's the most popular gun in America? Okay, that's the one we're going to go after, because if we can get rid of that one, we can disarm the largest amount of people. That's the thinking behind that. Yeah. Yeah, they'd 10x in price overnight. Especially if they did something like, oh, any that were purchased after this date. Like, it's illegal to purchase them after this date. They'll be sold out immediately. Because everyone would be rushing out to get one. It's just like every time they talk about, like, oh, we're going to put an additional tax, we're going to put a tax on ammo. Great. I can't find ammo anywhere now. I can't find ammo anywhere, and then when the stores come back in stock, it costs twice as much. Like, fantastic. A range day is now going to cost me $200. Minimum. Guest can't claim bed. Why? What's going on here? Why can't... What does guest can't claim bed mean? Are they too expensive? What if I drop them down to 30? They don't have enough money? I'm talking for, like, yeah, a $200 range day is cheap. Throwing out numbers as an example. What? Okay, I went in, looked at the bed, and then laid on the floor. Maybe I need to make a row of cheaper rooms? I showed up to buy tea. Oh, one of them bought Coke. Oh, okay. Okay, I priced my rooms way too high. So I didn't know how much they would actually bring with them. Alright, let's see. So if we do the beds... put cheap beds in them. Yeah. There's a mod to get rid of that. It just gets rid of the 8 without table debuff. Because, I mean, the debuff doesn't work half the time. How do I want to do this? Okay, we'll make the rooms 4x4. There's a mod for that too. There's a mod that makes it so if they eat without a table, they have an immediate mental break. These idiots are all just sleeping on the floor. That one's got 23 silver. That one's got 4. Okay, so if I price the beds at 10, I think if I price the beds at 10 silver, I think they'll use them then. Let's see. Yeah, there is a tooltip. Oh. Okay, that doesn't tell me anything, although I should give them some recreation items in here. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. I forgot. I can let them gamble. I downloaded slot machines. Do that, and we'll give them a pool table. Why am I lagging so bad? Bad. Okay, yeah. Or gift them some silver. So wait, how do I gift them silver? I don't know. Yeah, okay. It doesn't. I don't know how to gift them silver. Let's get these rooms built. We could do another hallway across the top. We could just put bedrolls in that are free. Here I was thinking that people would show up to a hotel with money. Or they'd like somehow check ahead of time, see how much the beds cost, or not show up and immediately spend all their money on drugs. But maybe they crazy me. It's Rimworld. What am I thinking? For guests, 10. Guests, 10. Yeah, those aren't built yet. And they should be happy. They're at least sleeping indoors. Yeah, that's true. True. Paid war. Okay, man. No. I don't want any of that. My colony minds its own business. Guest has nothing to eat. Let's give him another vending machine and we'll put food in it. Granted, I don't know how I'm going to keep the food from spoiling. Yeah, if you weren't spending all of your money on Coke, you could have bought a bed. Okay, maybe instead of charming them all, we can finish building the hotel rooms and the recreation items. What else we could do? 16. Oh, I have a ton of components. And that. And I can make a couch. My colonists are getting very lazy about building. Oh wait. Is there... Nope, there's nothing in here to give them money either. Oh. Weird. Game wants me to gift them silver. Doesn't give me a very clear way on how to do that. I've been at this almost 3 hours already. I need food soon. Heaters in here too. Yeah. Yeah, they have legs. And hypothermia. If they don't have legs, how are they going to grow crops for me? That would take too long. No, that would take forever. I don't know, to be somewhat competent. Yeah, no, I need these harvested before winter. My pawns would stop being stupid and just wandering back and forth. Be incredibly helpful. Oh, I can recruit them. Oh, but it will damage my relationship with their faction. Just gaslight them into thinking it was their own idea. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, my pawns are not completing work in anything remotely like a timely manner. True, but then I'd have to make a bunch of guns to send them. I don't know. It's a very good question. This one is going to be simple meals. That's going to make it... What do I have this set to? It's going to make it hard for my slaves to eat. Which I guess is not my problem. Yeah, I don't know. If someone airdropped a bunch of guns to my house, I'd assume they were like, oh, get ready. Here we can do a wall-mounted fireplace and a couch. Indoors now. It is. Okay, what? How do I get them all to stop doing this? Why is their work speed so much slower? This is way faster yesterday. Their work speed was faster yesterday. I just need more colonists. This one needs robo parts. I'm saying guest has nothing to eat, but... Oh, can't afford it. Okay, I could have just checked that. We'll give him a little table in here. Does it make more? No, I think it makes more sense to have it in there. they can afford to gift me eight glitter world medicine. They couldn't afford beds. I would have traded them for that. Would have traded them more than enough silver to afford beds for the glitter world medicine. This game makes so much sense sometimes. Oh, and now they're back to building at a reasonable speed. How about that? Oh, I can build the... No, I can't. Not yet. Need to research more. Got a casino up and running now. Hi, Mr. Zippy. I spelled checklist wrong in the title. There we go. That's fixed now. It was only up like that for nearly 3 hours. I need to go eat food. I think this is where we're going to leave it off at. Tell all your friends to subscribe. Make them do it. Cinnamon Roll, if you're still here, make sure all of your friends subscribe and watch every single video. Every Tuesday and Thursday, as long as I'm not sick, because the past 2 weeks, didn't happen. And let's see if... oh, you're back. Yeah, I got to end stream. Got to go, like, eat food. But yeah, make sure they all subscribe. Every single one of them. Force them to. Blackmail them. And let's see if Streamlabs crashes when I try to run my outro video. Because it likes to do that. Yeah, it's already stuttering. Really does not like streaming 4K. Ni hao for our Chinese overlords. Welcome to ChikeItUp, the fastest growing YouTube channel that I have. What do I do on this channel? A lot of gaming, a lot of streaming, sometimes comedy videos, and every now and then I destroy a printer. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna get the serial numbers off of it. I'm gonna contact technical support, and we're gonna get this working again. Yeah. Oh shit! There's billions of dollars in here. Billions of dollars lost. Snap it right back into place. All these little gears. Yeah, I think I'll get it replaced under warranty. I think it's still good. I think it's still a usable printer.